Oh, uh, hi guys. Good morning.
Hi, Nana. Good morning.
Sorry, it's just two of you in class. Cosmos, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Thank God. Where's everybody? Oh, wait. I know. Acting
Maybe,
class.
maybe, because even Cosmos isn't here.
Ah, is this not Cosmos?
It's him, but somehow he's in the other class.
Look at this. Oh, really? Okay. So, how do we do this? So let me just see. Let my imagination come to play. Today we're using our imagination. We're using our imagination a lot. We're going to be using it a lot in this class today. So I think I might as well start. So I'm just going to imagine everybody else is here. Um, can I don't know if I can see guys on Facebook today, or I shouldn't push my luck.
Georgina is on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Hi, Georgina. Hello, everybody else. Hi, Nachoka and the entire family. Okay, so today I want to teach you something very important. It's called character development. Uh, Kagile, good morning. So, I I see something very troubling when I look at stories. Because as a writer, if the reality is I read a lot of things that are my business, things that are not my business. As a writer, you're encouraged to read everything except the ones that come with warnings. So sometimes you read some things and you see that some characters you never forget them in your life, and there are some that you read and you're like, who is this? You know, like you can just tell what the character is going to do from the beginning. You can tell how the character is going to be at the end. And stories like that are easily boring. Most times I tend to not finish it because it can already tell. So I just go to the end of the book and read it and I'm like, I said it. And then that's the end. So today I want to show you how writers use characters to tell their stories even better. Um, how to create strong characters. I know I shared with you something called a character questionnaire. I don't know how many of you have used it yet. Um, that questionnaire has about 21 questions. It's the smallest. And there's another worksheet I'll share with you after this class. It's about 20 pages. 20 pages of questions that you should ask your character. So you see that the questionnaire I shared with you earlier is just small. But today I just want to teach you how to use the questionnaire, how to practically create that character, and what goes into it. So let's go. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is, as a writer or as a filmmaker, storyteller, anything, even as a media person, you cannot give what you don't have. What I mean by that is the importance of research. Because if you're going to write about something, a part of you is going to go into that thing, whether you like it or not. And ignore my eye bags, please. And when you don't have experience in what you are telling, it will show. So, in order for you to build your experience that you need, you do research. You talk to people that have been involved in that situation before. You go on YouTube and check. If you are writing about an armed robber, for instance, you can't go and look for an armed robber to talk to. But you can go online and see testimonials of various real life thieves, their court cases, the things they said, how they live their life, how they look, how they dress, pictures. You can watch movies like Narcos, you know, get ideas from there, then go on and do real life checks. Like, okay, who are these men in real life? How did their childhood evolve? What pushed them and all that? So that when you're developing your own character, you have material to take things from, because you need these things so that you can create a character that is very believable. Because the more believable your character, the more drawn your audience will be, the more they will be able to relate to it, whoever is on screen. And the more they will be rooting for, because they can relate to your character. They will root for your character naturally. But if they can't relate to your character, they'll just be wondering, okay, what's gonna happen? Or they might start yabbing you. Because you see some videos of people making funny comments on a movie like, did these people think we're stupid? Of course, we know this cannot happen. Why is this happening? That happens when you don't create strong characters. Your audience can easily tell. Don't think that your audience are not going to be smart people. Just like now, so Netflix bringing a movie to you that is not there like that. You'll be like, is this what I paid for? You know? So it's the same thing naturally. So when you're writing a story or you're plotting a story idea, have this at the back of your mind that the people you are plotting this thing for, they have a brain. Oh. So you have to put your own brain to work, like literally put it to work. Think like who your character is and all that. So let me just go straight into it and give you some definitions and things that I wrote down. But what I'm focusing on in this class today is, well, it's on my board, but it's far. Character development. I'm going to be showing you what archetypes are and how they are useful. And I'm going to show you what character arcs are. I'm going to teach you how to use these character arcs, how to create a great character. Then I'll show you how to use the questionnaire. And then we'll conclude with some examples.
Hi, Nana. I'm struggling to
Hi.
hear you. Hi, I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know whether anybody has a problem. Okay, the voice is clear, but the volume is low.
Oh, really? Okay, let me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. I was just trying to go through the outline for today's class. So I'm doing uh, the development, then I'm going to show you what archetypes are and how important they are in film. I'm going to show you what a character arc is. I'll show you the types of character arcs that exist. Um, Also, I'll teach you how to use the questionnaire to build strong characters and the types of characters that they are. So, let's do this. So, character development, simply put, is building your character in film or in your story. Now, how do you do this? First of all, in character development, the first thing you do is to give your character a name. Yeah. Now, there is a way to go about this. So I'm just going to show you. So see, yeah. After settling on your story idea, can you hear me? If you cannot hear me, please tell me, because this class is very important. So after settling on your story idea, after you've narrowed it down to a log line, a synopsis, the next thing that you do is to begin to place your characters in your story and to come up with characters. Now, there's no film trick about this. There's no magic way, but there's a process. Okay? But the basic is we are making things up. Yes. So don't think that, oh, there's some research link I'm going to give you. It's your mind here. That's why I say we're using our mind today. So when you're creating your characters, your mind is your major tool. Your mind, your experiences, research, but your mind is like 70%. Okay? So this is how you do your characterization, like when you want to give your characters their names. These are the things you look out for. Mhm. Your character name should reflect his or her heritage. It should hint at the personality of your character, and it should show the location, the geographical area of your story. Mm. So you see, so for people like customers, we have this going on with Kambani, at least we know we can relate to the meaning of the name and all that. So for the new guys, most especially, take note of this is what your character name should do. Um, hmm. So you have to be sure your character name is historically and geographically accurate with your story. You know, there are ways of putting names together. So what professional writers do is they go online. Yes, we go online and we check for names. So there are sites that we use, like I use World Almanacs. Um, Let me see if I can spell that. World, like WORLD, then Almanacs. I go there to check for names. They have both male and female names of any country in the world with the meaning of the names right in front of it. And another trick, I wonder what this is. Sorry about that. Another trick that writers do, some go on Google, because Google has, you even see a lot. If I want to write a story, say for instance, a story set in Botswana, I go on Google and check for Botswana names. It will come up different search tools for me to see. Names, male and female, time of the years, olden days names, recent ones, the meanings. This is where I draw some of the names that I use in my stories. So this is what some people do. So how to pair names if you're writing for somebody that is not from your place. Like for instance now, Nachoka say, a Nigerian says, okay, Nachoka, I like the way you write. I want you to write a story for me. And you're going to be using Nigerian names. You're a Kenyan or you're Zambian or from any other country. You might have an issue coming up with these names. So a trick, I'll show you a trick. You check for names of past leaders in that country or society that you're writing about. And then also check for names of popular people that are not leaders. They might not be so popular. Me, what I use is names of activists, because like a lot of people don't really know who these activists are unless they make it to the news. But there are a lot of activists out there. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I pair the first name of a president, of a past president, with the last name of an activist. So you would just know that this name looks familiar, but it doesn't look like any name that you've seen before because it's not. So I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, now, say, let me use the name of somebody in this class, Sally. So Salome Kibaki. Kibaki is the surname of some activist in Kenya. I looked up some time ago. And there's let's use Madam Rachel's surname. Let me pair it with the name of a past president. Which one is very popular? Jomo Kenya. Okay, so let me use Jomo Kenyatta now. So let me take the Jomo, yeah, and then Madam Rachel's surname. So we'll have Jomo Wainana. You see that? That can be a character name for somebody in Kenya. In a movie. So now, a Kenyan watching will relate because they know both names, you see, and you won't look lost as the writer, even if you're not from there, they can't tell. Do you understand? So if you're giving depth to that character name, this is second step now. I've moved from step one. So if you're giving your character depth, like in their name, I kind of touched on this last class, but let me just elaborate. This is where research comes in. So now, if I'm writing about Zambian people, for example, a particular tribe, Cosmas, tell me the name of a particular tribe in Zambia.
Well, there's Bemba.
Demba.
Zenga.
Okay. If I'm writing about the Demba people, and I'm writing a story based on their setting, and I want to create the character of a village drunk, I would ask a Demba person, what do you call, like, what are the names that are familiar with the drunkards in your place? Do you understand? Because there are some names that are familiar with certain things where you come from. These things are important when you're giving your character names as well in film. So if you see, for instance, you want to create the character of a harlot, yeah, and I'm going to give an example from Boondocks. I don't know if anybody has watched Boondocks here. I hope you have. It's a cartoon. But this example is very relatable. Even if you've not watched it, you would understand. Now, if I'm going to give a character name to a stripper, yeah, I'll be looking at names like Crystal, Moe, Moesha, oh, all those names, Rose,
Agnes.
Exactly. Crystals always, wait, I hope you did not use the name of somebody in this class. No, I say exactly. So, strippers always have names of the drinks, like Cristal, champagne, all those things. So now, when somebody hears the name, they just know you're talking about a stripper or somebody in that line. If you give, there are names that are given to strict people. Yes, like, you know, somebody called Thomas. The person is doubting. You see that? So if you have a character, for example, in a supporting role, who doesn't always believe your hero, or a character that always asks too many questions, you can call them Thomas. And it will go in line with their personality. And everybody can relate to that. Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, because everybody knows about doubting Thomas or has heard about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Guys?
Yes, we are getting you.
Okay. So something like that. Then that's how you add depth to to your to your character names. If your character is not straightforward, you can give them a nickname like Sly. You know, that nickname alone tells everybody what's up or something to expect. So when he does something, they'll be like, ah, this guy is really sly. Yeah, you see the name? That's where it works the magic. So doing that with your character names, even with your story titles, it does a lot of magic for you. For I'm saying this because I wish Sunday was here, but she's not here. But I'll say it anyway, because I plan to talk to her about it privately. You see, when Sunday was doing her presentation, I I had thought that the title of her movie was African Dress, like dress, and I loved it because I I could relate to that being like, okay, we as Africans are black. So that is like our dress. The color of our skin, you get, is black. And her story is about this whole colorism and everything. But when I saw the presentation in class, what was that? This rooster. So when I saw the presentation in class and I saw African rest, I was like, ah, which one is this one? I need to ask her what that means because I want to know so that I can relate to the name. Because you see things on Netflix like Blood Sisters, it triggers something. We don't know what to expect. We didn't even know they will be best friends. But you want to watch it. You see Rattlesnake. It has nothing to do with snakes. You see Kambani now. We know, okay, it's about a guy. We see the name. We know it's a story of somebody. We see, Lizzie, give me the title of your story because I've forgotten. You know, it's been long I saw you. Elizabeth, is she there? Ah, Lizzie. Oh, oh. Are you sure you guys can hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you.
That means Lizzie has gone somewhere. Okay, let me just move on. Then, okay, so you see, um, like time up now. You see that suspense in the title. But when you now hear the name of a title or the name of a movie and you cannot relate to it, like there's no depth, it will put you somehow, like it will put the audience off in a way. But if you give it a name and the name is something that they have to think about, already they are thinking about your story. Take it or leave it. If they hear the title and they give and their emotions are tweaked in a way, you've done your job. Do you understand? So let when you're thinking of names like that, whether names of your story, names of your characters, whether your lead, whether your supporting act, whether the extras, anybody at all, put some depth into it. Okay. Now there are two kinds of writers. There are writers like me. We are called pansters. We just go like our characters reveal themselves to us like as we write. While there are some writers that are like outliners, they outline everything before they move. Now, those ones have an advantage over writers like me because when you are able to outline your character character to the end in detail before you start writing. Your character will help you see your movie, your story. Like they will show you things you're not even seeing. Because when you know what your character is like, you know what your character can take, you know what your character cannot take, and then you start writing. There are some scenes that you already know that no, my character will set this place on fire. And that familiarization will make your story so apt because you won't be going around, you won't be stuck. And anytime you're stuck, your character just helps you because you already know your character. Now, you notice that I'm not saying your hero. You will do, because when you see a character Bible, like those of us that were in the last project, you saw how many pages it was. Very long. Yes. And in every character Bible, there's the same questions. So the same questions that you ask your hero is the same question you ask your villain, is the same question you ask your extras, is the same question you ask your supporting acts, because you have to know everybody in your story. It's important because you're the one putting everybody together. Do you understand? So let's continue. Now, character development is basically how your character responds. Okay? How your character responds to the obstacles that you set for them, both internal obstacles and external. So there are two types of obstacle setting. You set obstacles internally, you set obstacles externally to disturb. Okay? Because as a human being, you are both affected by what goes on in your emotions and what goes on in your environment. You agree with me? If you have been traumatized by something earlier in your life, it affects how you make decisions all the way. If you are not careful, it will affect you all through your life if you don't get help or see a therapist. Now, this same thing applies to your characters. Okay? A character that had a humble upbringing would definitely be different from a character that was born into affluence and probably the parents never maybe paid any attention to. They will always be spoiled. Okay? Now, it doesn't make them bad. That's why some people do this. They have this character arc where they pick a character like that is coming from plenty, and they throw them into poverty. That is the worst kind. So there, your character now builds. You see your character the way they grow, because your character must grow. If your character doesn't grow throughout your story, you have not done your work. You have not. So when you throw a rich character into some suffering, that is suffer, where there is no food, where the bathroom is not clean, it's not five-star hotel, you you give the character the opportunity to express themselves, and then you give the audience something to relate to, because everybody can relate to that. They'll start laughing because they know what's going to happen. It doesn't make your movie boring, it makes your movie very realistic. Do you understand? It makes it even more real, and that's what you are going for. Real, not perfect. Okay, so we have that. And now, after we have come up with a name, I don't want to be looking at my notes and telling you, because I made these notes like 2 days ago. So I just want to just give you like major information. So then we'll move to your character's looks. Yeah. Now, because you're writing a movie, you are at an advantage, because whatever you attribute to your character you are sure that a production designer is going to give it life. Okay? But it doesn't mean that you won't give that production designer something to work with. If not, that would just be wicked. Alright? So, you have to layer in what your character likes or what your character doesn't like through your dialogue. Okay? You can't put it in your action. You have to put it through your dialogue. If your character is the one that, let's take for instance now, people in university, like undergraduates that are living on their own. If your character is somebody that always loves to start their day with a bottle of beer, and then their roommate maybe invites a girl over who doesn't know, and she drinks the last beer in the fridge without asking, and then your character wakes up in the morning, you know your character is gonna go crazy, right? At least for a few seconds. Your character will like raise the roof small so that the girl will know that, oh, that way you have shown to the whole world that this person does not play with their beer. You don't need to use a narrator to say, oh, let's talk about John. John doesn't play with beer. Nah, you don't need that. You can just use that simple, subtle part, and you can add it to a scene to build up your scene. Do you understand? Because you can start from that and even establish a love interest between your character and that girl at the end of the scene. I don't know if you get where I'm going with this. Is just an example of my head. I did not plan this example, but it's the truth. Okay, so you get how your characterization helps you to tell your story, because we already know what your character likes. You have to know what your character likes, what your character does not like. At least have an idea, even if you don't know everything in depth. As your story continues or unfolds, more will be told to you. And then you can now put it down that, okay, this, this. And then that's what me I do, because I don't get everything at once, but I have an idea of who I want to write about. And that helps me. Okay? It takes me a long way. So that when I'm stuck, I go back to that, my character. I go back there and I check, who is this person again? Okay, this person. Because when you start writing, your head will be too full, trust me. So it's important that you do all these things before you start the writing, so that you come back and say, okay, this is this, okay, this is this person, okay. So if this is this person, this is what should happen here, here, here. You see that? But if you don't have that guide, your story outline is not enough. Oh. It's good, but it's not enough. Because you need characters to put inside your story outline. So if you don't have all your characters figured out, if you only have your hero and your villain and maybe their family, you have not started. Oh. So you have to take like a whole day and just be passing around in your story world in your head and just asking yourself questions like, how many characters am I seeing in this entire film? Okay? Then you write. If it's 20, you write. It might end up being more than 20. But at least you have something to start with. Because, like I said, this class involves a lot of your mind. Your character development is you using your mind a lot. So you are making things up that will suit your story. Shikena. So you have to make up the right things. Okay? You can't make up jargon. Your story will be jargon. You understand me? So it's important that you know. Oh, speak. Tell me yes, you understand. Open your microphone, Cosmas. It's fine. Okay? I want to know that you understand me. So it's good. Respond. Hmm. So, when you're building your character's looks, hmm, these are things to look out for: body size, color, hair type, height, um, how attractive or not attractive, because it's very important. Um, Whether they are athletic or not, it has to come into your mind, because all this will play on the outside. It will help your casting director to know who they are going for. So at least help them small. Give them an idea, something to work with, something basic, but not so basic. Put some work into it. Because take it or leave it, yeah? There are certain materials that must be on ground during production. Your actors need it more than anybody. And nobody is going to provide this thing except the writer. A character Bible. You must provide it. It's part of what they pay you for. So if you don't do character development, you will not be able to arrange a very nice character Bible. You will be forced to do it when you're arranging your character Bible. So why not just do it and then get your story on with? Okay? So for those of you that have not seen what a character Bible is, ask your classmates that were in production of Wounds, or if you want, message me and I'll send you one. I don't want to put it in the group because I don't want to distract people. But you want to see what it looks like, what is involved in it, and what are the information that must be in your character Bible. Sure. You can ask me, you can check on Google, it's everywhere. You see it. Okay? Because it's very important. So, you also want to know your character's age, their nationality. I mentioned this before. You want to know their occupation, what they do, because it also helps. Now, if your character is a boxer, you know how it's going to look. If your character is a lawyer, you know how he's going to think. If your character is an engineer, you know how they're going to think. If your character is a professor, you know what he's going to be about. Okay? Or at least it helps you to give him things to be about. Now, Cosmos is writing about a fisherman. Now we know a fisherman, at least their upper body is strong because they do a lot of pulling, and then their feet too because of the grip, and they are perfect swimmers. So at least now we know things that your character should have just by knowing their occupation. You see that? Now, I think is it Lizzie that is doing the sci-fi, the futuristic movie with the professor and something?
Yes, that's me.
Where did you go before? See you. Okay, so now we know her character is gonna be a bookie. Like they're going to be books around. He will have glasses because that is what most of our nerds or geeks look like. Okay, at least we know he's going to be a nerd somehow, even though he's a father and a husband. We expect him to have some attributes already because of his profession. You see that? And that goes on for everybody else. If your character is a student, you already automatically, it helps you know, okay, your character has to have this mindset, your character has to be in this age category, your character has to be of this statistic. If your character is old, then there has to be a story behind why we have an old student. You know? So it helps you to build up even your story. You see that? So it's important that you have all your characters, even if not all, majority of your characters defined. Okay, so we're going to talk about yeah. So I kind of summarized the 20-page questionnaire for you into one page because I don't want you to be scared by the number of pages. So here it goes. But before I do that, let me just finish my points. So the third thing you need to do well, not third thing, I think it should be fifth thing by now, is give your character a backstory. Now, a backstory, simply put, is your character's history before you started writing scene one. Your backstory is not what will happen in the movie. Oh. Your backstory is going to incorporate part of the flashbacks, if not all the flashbacks. That's where we're going to see backstories. Okay? So, your backstory is everything that happened before what? Scene one. So you are not discovering it inside your film. It has happened before you started writing your film. So it's basically your character's history. That's what the backstory is. So every character has to have a history. Why? Because everybody has a past. You have, I have, tomorrow, today will be past. Do you understand? So if you're going to develop a character that is going to be real, you have to give them a past so that we know where your character is coming from, so that people can relate to your character more. All right? Now, this past also shows in the internal conflict that you sense. We see, okay, why is this character acting like this? Why are they anxious when they see this person or that person? Is because of something that that person has probably done to them in the past, or they remember a trauma that that person is probably reminding them of. But if you don't know this trauma, how will you write about it? You can't give what you don't have. You see? So you have to have this information so that when you need materials to pull from, you remember that, oh, this thing happened to my character in the past. That means in this scene, my character cannot just stand up and walk off. Then you go back and look at it again that, okay, if this has happened and your character is probably a victim of depression, your character shouldn't just stop here. Your character should lose their mind and do something crazy here and shouldn't just make it flat. Okay? Now, if you don't have, wait, something is burning in my house. Okay, sorry. Now, if you don't have this, I was smelling something burning. If you don't have these backstories established, okay, before you get into the middle of your story, you may be stuck somewhere. You may find yourself telling 10 stories in one story because you haven't established a particular backstory. So, this is why it's important for you to establish your character's past, their present, and their future before you start to get on work with your scripting, so that you know, at least you have an idea of where your character is coming from, where they are now, and where they are heading to, so that you allow it influence your story in the ways that it should best influence it. Because if you don't, you might find yourself telling somebody a story and then you'll be like, the reason why this happened is because I didn't mention this, but sometime back you've lost everybody. Do you understand? Because if you're like, you are in flashback and inside that flashback you are giving me another flashback, inside one flashback you are giving me like four flashbacks, what are you doing? That's not right. You see that you lose everybody. So if you don't have your backstories defined, your flashbacks will be all over the place. Okay? Yeah. Um, hmm. So with that being said, your backstory is what shapes your character's personality, at least most of their personality. It involves their family history, if they have siblings, if they don't have siblings, if they are orphans, if they if their parents are still alive, if they went to school, what level of education they have, if it is college, if it is high school, if it is zero, at least you know who you're working with. If your character is an illiterate and you show us your character developing, or you show us your character in an office standing up for his boss or talking, and you don't show us nights where your character stood up to learn, like what happens in Suits, then you have lost us. Because your audience will ask you how. This character is illiterate. How is he reading? How is he speaking this kind of English? Do you understand? So your backstory helps you shape your character's personality. Okay? If your character is is maybe a well-read character, and then something stupid happens to them and they fall for it, you see people go like, how? Somebody that went to school. You hear that, you see that expression. That already helps. It helps your story because people want to now know how come, why, and if you don't explain that why very strongly, you've lost everybody. If your character is an illiterate, their accent has to show it. The way they dress has to show it. Their house, their state of living has to show it. If your character is a professional, his living space has to show it. His dressing has to show it. If your character is a lawyer, we need to see it in the way he looks, in his shoe, in the way he speaks, in the English he uses, in his vocabulary. If your character is a dropout, it needs to show that, okay, this person's English is good. They went to school, but they stopped somewhere. It needs to show in the dialogue. It needs to show in the way they respond to things. It needs to show in the way they think. So if you don't know that information, you see that if you go on writing, you will just be writing for yourself. Because when you finish writing and you give somebody to read your first draft, they will say, your character is illiterate now. This English is too much for your character to speak. Then you find yourself tweaking dialogue all over again. So if your character is literate, you know that your character's vocabulary is going to be slangish, like 90% slang. Then 10% he will try to put English where the English does not fit. Intentionally, you have to write this thing intentionally because you know your character's backstory. So, Cosmas, if you write Kambani, if you finish writing, then I see dialogue and I'm seeing English like, excuse me, police officer, you have failed it though, because Kamba did not go to school. Kambani grew up in Zambezi River. So where did he learn that English? You will explain yourself. Hope you are with me.
Company will never use English in his life.
No, even if he uses English, the English has to show that he did not go to school. Okay?
Where did he learn it from?
He might want to use English in the bus. He might want to say something. So you use that to show, or even in the prison, he might want to say something. So you will use the language to show that this character no go school. Okay? Just by that dialogue alone, you've shown the whole world that, okay, this guy has a problem with English. Oh. Do you understand?
Right.
You intentionally show
understand.
One or two things. You get that? So now, for instance, like, who's writing about a troubled character? I think it's Nachuka. Yeah. Okay. If your character is depressed, you will be showing your character has to have moments when they skip. Like somebody can be talking to them, they can be with their group of friends and not be there, like be absent-minded a lot because of what they are going through. It has to show. You see some movies where somebody just lost their girlfriend or their job, then they show the scene, then they start by showing bottles on the floor to show you that the person has been having a drinking charade. Stuff like that. It counts. Because you see it in Hollywood movies, you see it in our local movies, because it's true. You might say, oh, people do this a lot. It can never get old because it is true. When somebody is having a problem, they drink. If they don't drink, they tend to have drugs. It is the truth everywhere in the world. It has been the truth in the days of the pharaohs. It will continue to be like that. It cannot change. In any any age or century or time, they had something that used to give them their high. If it's banana beer, if it's not banana beer, it's fermented something. Because everybody wanted an escape. You see, it has always been, it will always be. So when your character is troubled, you have to show, because whoever is troubled automatically wants an escape. So if you don't show these things, your story will be shaking. One legged. You understand? Uh-huh. So we go to, so I've said it a lot of times. Make sure your character is human. Give them some a lot of flaws. Um, Also give them good sides. Let people, as you're seeing their flaws, see their strengths. Like how I told you about Superman and the Kryptonite. Yes. Also, like this guy, this Indiana Jones guy. You know, he had a fear of snakes. Your character can have fear of something. It will play in the conflict. Imagine a character that has phobia for heights, and then your conflict, you put your character on top of a hill, and they have to fight for their life. And you've shown already that this person has a phobia for heights. Like maybe your opening scene is your character on an airplane and they cannot stay. Like they are like sweating. They can't. They can't survive. They are blowing air into a bag, and then we know that this person cannot stand height. Then he has to fight for his life somewhere high up where he's seeing the world. Well, even me as an audience, I go to pity and say, hey, how is this guy? Because he's fighting, he's looking down. So internal conflict, external conflict in one scene. You see how the internal conflict will come to play? Because we already know your character. So we will be able to relate that, hey, this person is going through a lot, having to fight from there. You don't see the beginning where this guy almost died. Do you understand? You've not said it, you just showed it, but your audience have what? Sense. Don't ever forget that. The people that you are making movie for, they have brain. They use it to think. So please do them a favor and think before you write something. Think very well. Think about it. That's why we don't stop at your first draft, because we have to think well. So we expand your first draft to second, to third, to fourth. We really have to brainstorm, because the people you are making the movie for are going to be watching it with their brain. Don't insult them, okay? It's the least you can do. Put in the effort, all right? So, a lot of the things in this note, I've said it to you a lot. So I'm skipping the things I've already said because I want us to go to the questionnaire part fast. So, conduct research. I've told you that a lot of times. A lot of you already do that, so I don't think I need to go over that again. I think you've understood the assignment. Um, hmm. Last thing in this part, you have to be ready hmm, to draw on your own experiences as a human being when you are writing. You remember, for those of you that were in class, when was it Janice or who that was presenting, and Madam Rachel was like, "Is this a story of you and your friends?" And she said yes. You see, that factor alone made it even more interesting, because now we want to see the story. Yeah. So you have to accept that as a writer, you're going to have to draw experiences from what has happened to you personally. Yeah? Some, not all, it doesn't necessarily have to be your life story, please, no. But at least in one scene or two scenes, or in some situation in the story, we have to see snippets of you inside. This is the mind game I'm talking about. Because You're building all this story in your mind's eye. You're building your story world here. It hasn't been seen before. It's you that is seeing it more than anybody. It's in here. Now, because it's in here, it's whatever you call it that it is. It's the title you give us that we'll take. It's the character you present to us that we'll accept. We won't impose characters on you except we start seeing that, okay, there's a character you need that you don't have. But we're going to basically make use of whatever you give us because it's what is coming from your head. That is your story. So you're making this up. Movie is what? Make believe. Make. We are making things up. So make up the right things. Don't make up rubbish. Please, I beg you with God. Do you understand? Do the makeup well. Draw from your own experiences. At times when you are looking and you're like, what would I do in this situation? Put it in the script like that. Because it's real. That's the reality. You're being as real as. That's it, 100. As your writer comes to life before, you are bringing your writer to life. So you are giving your writer this fire. So fuel it. Fuel it with your fire if you have to. It's very necessary in some cases in your story. There are some parts where you are like, you have to sit down with your character and be like, okay, in this scene, I think you have to break this person's head because I will break this person's head. Yeah. That's it. Now, take it or leave it. As a writer, I wrote this down because I didn't want to miss this one. So let me just say, as a writer, you have the opportunity to imagine yourself in 1,000 situations in your lifetime, if not 1,000,000 situations. That's true. So today you are, let's say you're writing about an engineer who's having a tough life. For the next, if it takes you 2 months to write or 3 months, for the next 3 months you are an engineer. Because you will find yourself reading books about engineering, talking to engineers, watching movies about engineers, anything you can lay your hands on that is engineering, you will get involved in it. You will find yourself learning engineering terms because you have to use it in the dialogue because it has to look real. So if an engineer is talking with his people, his fellow engineers, he will not be saying, pass me that chain. He will call the scientific name now. So you find yourself learning scientific names of things, mechanical names of things. When you are writing as a lawyer, or you're writing a story about a lawyer, or like our girl Georgina, she's writing about a police officer. There are some scenes where you will put some things like what charge, how many counts charge, 1 or 2 waiting did that this thing what is it? Subpoena, that one is even for lawyers. What's that thing what they say when they come to arrest you and they start reading you your rights? You have the right to remain silent. There's a word for it. I can't remember right now. You have to know that thing too. You have to know things that on a normal day you have no business doing because you're not a police officer. But because you find yourself writing about that now, you have to know. However, there are some scenes where this guy will get to, and you have to put Georgina in there, like, okay, this one, what would I do if I was in this situation? And that is what you would write. And it will help you because as you're writing, what would you do? You already know who your character is. So you know what you will do. Then you think about it in relation to your character. That, okay, this is me, Georgina. I will break this table. But this is the police officer now. How would he break this table? All you know is table is going to break. But he has to break it his own way. But that table is breaking because you say it's breaking. Because according to your experiences, that is what should happen at this point. Okay? So you see that you draw from your life experiences, you put it into your story, then you make it better. You are not telling us your life history. Don't come and do gossip TV here. Just take bits that you need and apply it to your character's journey. Okay? Yeah. So let's go to character arc. So your character arc, simply arc is ARCS, like yeah, arc. So your character arc, simply put, is the difference between who your character is at the beginning of your story and what he becomes at the end. So it is just the transformation that your character goes through from beginning to end of your story. That is the character arc. Okay. So writing did not start today, as we all know. Filmmaking did not start today. It's not a today something. It's been on. So a lot of writers have done some research, watched a couple of stories, and done their debates, and they've come to the conclusion that there are about 7 to 9 character arcs in every story. That's no matter how you watch the story, these arcs must be present. So I'm going to just run through them. So now, there's the positive arc. The positive character arc is what we see in many stories where your character starts from a bad time, then he goes through some trials and tribulations, then he ends up a hero with a good life, happily ever after. Everybody go clap. That's positive. That's a positive character arc. It's mostly for your protagonists, your heroes. Then number two is the negative one, obviously. Negative because the character starts out good and then they go through some journey in their life where some nuts go losing and then they have a bad end at the end of the film. This always happens to who? The villain, the antagonist. Sometimes it's not sometimes. 98% of the time the antagonist ends up dead. The hero must win. Like Nigerians will say actor no dey die for film. So that's the positive. That's like an example of the positive. Because what it means is no matter what happens, the actor cannot die. Your hero cannot die. So he will suffer, but don't worry, he won't die. That's a popular character arc. Then the negative one being that somebody must die, which is the villain. That's always their character arc, how it goes, except in some exceptional cases. Then we have something called flat. Now, flat character arcs are for characters that no matter what happens in the story, their character doesn't really change. You might be wondering how. I'll tell you. An example is Sherlock Holmes. For those of you that have seen Sherlock Holmes or all these superhero movies like Avengers, Superman, yeah, most of their character arcs are flat. Now, this is because it starts off as Superman being a hero, flying, saving people. He goes through some trouble, fights with some bad person, alien. It's always alien. They fight the alien invasion. At the end of the day, Superman goes back to what? Saving lives. He's still Superman. Nothing changes. We're just saying that he's fighting different people and overcoming it. So the character is flat. In the case of Sherlock Holmes, he's a detective. Yeah. So in every episode, you know that Sherlock Holmes is going to solve a crime and go back to what? Solving crimes. There has never been an episode where he solves a crime and he's like, I'm not doing this again, I resign. He will still come back to solve crime tomorrow. So that is a flat character arc. So the character arcs that are induced by conflict. This one we have like 5. There's man versus man. This is what you have. protagonist versus villain. There's man versus nature. Types of movies like this is you see all those movies where they show you the world is coming to an end, and then somebody survives it with his family. All those types. Like I can't remember those now because I hardly watch movies like that. But I know there's one they used to call 2000 or something like that, where there was a tsunami and the whole world was going to be destroyed. In fact, there was flood, but somebody survived. All those kind of ones. Then there's man versus God. Now, this kind of stories dwell on the character and their inner conflict. Like you see a character that is going through something, maybe a character that was raped as a child, then all through their life, the trauma of that rape, they are never the same. It affects their relationship, it affects their work, it affects their love life, it affects even their normal physical life, it affects the way they talk to people, it makes them withdrawn. Now, this situation that this character has to come out of that shell to become who they are meant to be. It would be difficult to get that kind of person to become a motivational speaker. But what if that's their destiny? So we see your story showing us how this character transforms from being traumatized to trying to talk to people from one person to obviously the first scene where you show that character talking to people, they won't get it right. It's either they will freeze, run away, go and cry, maybe now learn it, now come back and become the master motivational. All those kind of movies. You know what I'm talking about. So you see that stories evolve, they don't really change. So because of that, some people have been able to study and come up with these things that I'm teaching you today. Not some people like professionals who. So take note. And then there's man versus self. Man versus self movies are like all those movies. You see that movie with Will Smith and his dog from beginning to end. It was one man and dog. That kind of movie. You see one man for a whole 1 hour or 2 hours, but it's a whole movie. That kind. Then man versus technology. You already know. This is something like what Liz is trying to work on. So we see somebody going to tackle technology, just to come up with a solution that will save humanity. Or we see Transformers. That's the perfect example for man versus technology. You see somebody turning car, turning to machine, turning to robot, fighting human being. Why? That kind of story. So yes, let's go to archetypes straight up. So, do you have any questions, please, before I move to archetypes?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, Nnenah, I have a question.
Mm,
Yeah. So, take for
I'm
instance,
with
you've got, sorry,
you. Said take for instance what?
yeah, you've got two lead actors or maybe two protagonists in a movie, and
Uh,
both of them have got maybe a short backstory. Yeah. So, is it necessary to have a villain in that movie? Should you have one villain for both, or maybe both of them should have villains specifically?
um, they are going to have the same villain.
The same villain,
Do you understand?
even
Yes,
if
it
they
will be
have
one.
different goals,
Huh?
even if they have different goals, like the two protagonists have got
But
different goals.
they are in one movie.
Yeah, they are in one movie.
Then they have to have one villain. You know why?
Okay. No,
If they are, if they are two, who's asking me this question first of all?
It's Nachoka.
I wanted to be sure. It's not like I don't know your voice. So if they are like for say three protagonists in one movie equals one story. And in this your one story now, you want to have you see if it there will be too much conflict because you can't have two protagonists pushing for two different goals. They have to be pushing for a common goal. Now, when that happens, they have a common enemy. Okay. Now, their protagonists can be maybe plenty people that belong to one camp, but it has to be one camp. If you want to spread
Okay.
it out and say, okay, you want it to be three against three, it's fine. But those three against three have to have a common goal and a common camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Can I
If
can
not, it
I
will be
inbox you after class for more questions?
can you what?
Can I inbox you after class for more questions?
Oh, why not? Of course. Feel
Okay.
free, please.
Okay, I'll do that. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, I made a summary in this, but I can't find it. So let me show you the real thing. So I had studied about archetypes. The first time I stumbled on archetypes was 3 years ago. And I was wondering, like, ah, why am I just seeing this? That was 3 years ago. So I figured I was doing a course then, and then that course cost me about $30 or something. And then I learned it. And I saw that, oh, why don't we do this more in our like when you're writing as writers? Because I found that a lot of my writer friends didn't know it. So I shared it with everybody, and they were like, "Oh my God, what?" So I'm going to share it with you all today. So let me tell you the story about archetypes. So
What's the
archetypes.
spelling? Archetype?
Oh, let me spell it. Okay, Archetype.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
So, so I found that people like Tarantino and all our great then Spielbergs and all, they had done this research because they found that okay, all our stories have similar characterization. So how do we write down this process for future filmmakers to just draw from? And they came up with that note. And what I know they see my that note. So the archetype is basically the characterization of everybody in your story. By everybody I mean your protagonist, your antagonist, yeah, I found it. Your supporting acts, your extras, everybody. And there are different archetypes that exist in storytelling. This is not just for filmmakers though, but is majorly for filmmakers because people that write novels don't really use this thing like that. They use it, but not as much as script writers do. So here we go. Now, archetypes make up the foundation of all personalities in real life. Yes. So it was psychologists and filmmakers that came up with this study that I'm sharing with you today. It was not something guessed. Like they came up with it for like almost 20 something years before we have what we have now that I'm sharing with you. So even brands and businesses adopt archetypes. Yes. It's that serious. You see, anytime is business involved, they take it extra serious because of the money. So take this thing seriously, because it's because of the business part that they came up with this. Let me plug my charger. Yeah. So here we go. There are different types of archetypes that match different types of audience. You see, when you're developing your story idea and you're telling us your target market, yes, you should study your archetypes, the archetype of your target market, before you call it your target market. So I'm going to teach you what these are. Now, when you identify the types of archetype that match your audience, you identify how to appeal to them automatically. Okay? Um, you now figure out the role of your character or your brand in appealing to your audience. You see, there are some directors that are known for shooting a particular type of movie. They don't do any other one. If you call them for something else, they will be lost. There are some actors like The Rock that are known for their bodybuilding. So he gets roles that, no matter how dramatic, it has to involve some physicality. Vin Diesel, these guys, the Fast and Furious guys, because of the archetype that they appeal to. They appeal to a particular type of archetype. That's why Fast and Furious is a franchise. They have their customer base. Do you understand? Because they understand the archetype of their customer base, so they know that these people keep on wanting more. You see the budget for their movie, you see $200 million, $500 million. You are wondering, these people are shooting, they are carrying a whole crew to Brazil. They will spend 8 months. They are building their set from scratch, cement, plywood, everything, and they are still in business because they understand the archetype that they appeal to, and they are appealing to them very well. Their archetype is called the Ruler Archetype. I'll teach you about them right now. So there are different types of archetype. There's the ruler, there's the everyman, there's the seducer, there's the professor, there's this, and all these archetypes appeal to different types of characters in your story. And they appeal to people in real life, like how human beings are. When I explain some of them to you, you start to see some of your friends that have some attributes of some kind of archetype. Okay? So this is essential for you to understand who your audience is, so that you know things that they desire to see, and you know what you want to show them and how to keep them spellbound from the beginning to the end. All right? So the first, there are 12 types of archetypes. Let me just give you the 12, then you write them down, then I start going into details. So there's the outlaw, there's the magician. I hope I'm not too fast too. There's the outlaw.
Yeah,
There's
you are
the
not too fast. You are extra too fast.
Hey, sorry. Okay. So number one, the outlaw. Outlaw, Outlaw, like you know them now, the hooligans. Mhm. The outlaw. Number two, the magician. Yeah, magician, like you're the regular magician. Number three, the hero. Number four, the lover. Okay. If I'm going too fast, stop me. I'll come back to where you are. Please. Number 5, the jester. Jester, like the the fool, the one that is known for just being a fool throughout the film. That's the jester. Um, Number 6, you have the everyman. Number 6 is what? Hey, I'm too
Everyman.
fast. Everyman. Okay. Um, Number 7, we have something we call the caregiver. The caregiver. The characters that fall into this category are those characters that we never forget. Is somebody's mic on? So the caregiver, those are the ones that are soft, the ones that always either die for the hero or give their life in the course of the movie. The one that their death is the most painful. Those are the ones. Then we have something we call the ruler. That's number 8. The ruler. Ruler. The ruler. The symbol or the spirit animal of this ruler is like the lion mostly. These are the royals, the ones on top, the ones that like expensive things, the people that drive, the Mercedes, the Benz, the people that if it's not breaking the bank, they are not there. That's them. It's not the ones that steal, oh. Don't get it twisted. The ruler is always a very good example of the ruler is Iron Man or Batman. You see the characters that have so much money, they want to use it to help humanity. They're not showing off. But they have a class. There's something that Batman will never wear. There's a car Batman will never drive. All his cars are always making statements. You understand? Iron Man, the same thing. He always has some new gadgets going on, something techy, something savvy. His house is in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have neighbors. You see, the lifestyle is classic. All those classic men lifestyle, those are the ones that's associated with the ruler archetype. Okay, they are the ones that own private jets. They have their own helicopter on top of their roof. All those characters. That's the ruler character. Then number 9 is the creator. That's us, me and you. Number 10. Let me allow you write number 9. Number 9 is the creator. Uh, Number 10 is the innocent. In every story, you need to have people that fall into this category. The innocent. You need them in your story. This
Number
is
10, you
another
said
set of
what?
people. The innocent. The innocent. Because these are some people that their sufferings are more painful to the audience because they are innocent. They shouldn't be going through this. They go through difficult situations and people's emotions are touched. These are the characters that fall into that. Then number 11 is the sage. You know, the sage, the wise ones. You know, like in Baby Panda. Is it Baby Panda that is that? Whoa, something panda, Kung Fu Panda. Thank you. You see that short man, the teacher with beard. That's the sage character in that one, in that story. All those like one Kenobi in Star Wars, all those people. Then number 12 is the explorer. This character is very important. the explorer. Now, let me just increase it to 15. I won't teach you all the 15. I was going to give you 12 today, but in some of your stories, there are some archetypes that are not here. Let me just give you. There are more than 12. That's the truth. So you have to go and do some research. So 13, if you got number 12, is the explorer. So number 13, we have what we call the castaway. The castaway. These are the ones that live like the outcasts, far away from people, all those things. Then number 14, the rebel. The rebel. These are the characters that are just naturally rebellious, no matter what. It's in their DNA. You can't remove it. The rebel. Then number 15. Let me give you the warrior archetype. The warrior archetype. This is very important. So let's start. Outlaw. Now, this goes without saying, yeah. These are characters that have a desire for revolution. Should I say that again? The outlaws are characters that have a desire for revolution. They are revolutionary, you know. They are usually non-conformist, characters that don't conform to the layman or the regular way of doing things. They always want to come up with their own way, a way that the society is not used to, you know. Some of them pass off as rebels, but not all of them, because sometimes outlaws are not always heroes. Some outlaws put everybody in trouble. Mm. So that's why we're not portraying all of them as heroes. Some of them are bad for the story, some of them are good for the story, some of them are not lead actors. There are some stories where you see the warrior, people that always play lead are either the ruler, the hero.
Excuse me, madam. I lost it.
Huh?
I was lost a bit. Uh,
Where were you
After the
lost?
rebel,
After?
after the rebel,
I know the
what's
year.
the other archetype?
Number what?
Is it number 14? You said rebel. Number 15.
Oh, rebel, warrior, and what? Castaway, I think. There's castaway, there's the rebel, and
And the what?
rebel. Rebel. Like in Ken story, you have
Yes, after that one. After the rebel.
warrior. That's the last.
Oh, rebel is the last one.
Warrior. Warrior.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the outlaw, and for the outlaw, anger is a major part of their motivation. Yes, they are mostly motivated by their anger. That's why they are not always heroes. So most of the time, they either help the hero along the way. You see, the outlaw will come in when the hero is having a tough time. You see somebody will just come from nowhere and come and help the situation. uh That archetype is always the outlaw archetype. Sometimes the hero doesn't always know them, but they know everybody because they are revolutionary, so they don't associate with everybody, but they know what's happening. So when they see somebody that is coming to fight for a cause that they believe in, they automatically support you, whether you are the hero or the villain. That's why they are an important archetype in a story. Um, they don't like rules. They don't like rules and regulations. They are mostly good people deep down in their core, you know. Most of the outlaws in society, when you sit down and talk with them, you find that they have the softest of hearts. Do you agree with me? Hello, am I speaking to me?
Yes, you're right.
Uh-huh. So you see that it has to also show in your story as well. So most of these outlaws are usually good people deep down inside. They just put up a bad boy face. But if you check them in their soul, they are sweet. They have the sweetest of hearts. They mean well. They just don't agree to other people. They don't agree to majority, but they always mean well. So their main traits are revolution and liberation. The main trait of an outlaw is revolution and liberation. Those are the two major things that they desire for in their life. So these are the two major strengths. Um, they always believe in one thing. They believe that rules are made to be, somebody should complete it.
Broken.
But thanks. They believe that rules are made to be broken. Um, they always like to go against the status quo. I don't need to tell you that. I already said it. So there are some. I'll give you some type of brands that are associated as outlaws, so that you see that even businesses, old time businesses, have been using this archetype um, philosophy to grow their business. So you see motorbikes, power bikes like Harley Davidson. That's an outlaw brand because it's dangerous. It's edgy. So most brands and companies have this outlaw archetype. Most companies that are into construction materials and all, if you watch their adverts, it's always like that. Somebody alone in some far place. So if as a filmmaker now a company approaches you and say do an advert for us, you need to know what they're about. Oh. You can't just do adverts because of how it's coming in your head. This one, I'm saying this for Kagile because I know you are in the business. This archetype thing goes a long way. Ask them what's your brand archetype so that it will influence the kind of advert you're going to even shoot, the kind of actors you would need, your set, what it will look like. Do you understand? So like if you are doing an advert for even a tattoo or body art shop now, that is an outlaw because a society, this our society, if you have tattoos, there are some places you can't enter. You have to cover it. There are some offices you can't show your tattoo unless if it's on weekend. You have to endure and cover it, wear corporate shirt or use foundation as a lady. If the tattoo is in somewhere you can't cover, you use foundation to cover it so that they don't know that you have a tattoo because it's an outlaw attribute. So if you're doing an advert now, or if you're creating a commercial for a body art or a tattooist or a tattoo company, you know that okay, your advert has to look like this. Most people that have tattoos are sweet people. They just look rugged on the outside. So if you do an advert in that line, or you do an advert that shows that okay, this person is going for something revolutionary, they are just not regular, but they are good people. So you see, because you understand the archetype, it will influence the story ideas that will even come to your mind. So let's move on. Number two, I'll talk about the hero. No, let me talk about the magician. So the magician here. Number two, let's talk about the magician. These are characters that have mystery. They are not necessarily doing magic in the film. Okay? Get that? The magician archetype is not a magician like a real magic. It doesn't have to be a magician. This is the archetype that we use to describe characters that are mysterious, characters that have weird stories, like Alice in the Wonderland, Chronicles of Narnia, all these kind of stories. So, these are archetypes that are mystical. They strive on mystery to make their dreams come true. Um, most of the things that they do defy the common laws of nature. Most of the things that they do, you're like, how? How? No, 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 no. A normal person cannot do that. That's the magician archetype. Okay? Now, they are always knowledgeable. They are always either reading something or doing something. They are not always the hero or protagonist, but they are always supporting acts. People with this archetype, they always help the hero out. They always teach either they always there to help or to serve the hero in their journey. They are not always the main character, but they are important in your story. Because without them, your hero would find things more difficult or your story wouldn't be as interesting. So they use their knowledge to teach in the story. They show that their main mantra, I'll give you the mantra for every archetype. Like I gave you the mantra for Outlaw. They believe that rules are meant to be broken. The magician believes that anything is possible. Anything is what? Guys, are they writing? Sorry. The magician is possible.
Anything is possible.
Yes. Now, they have the ability to transform their audience. Right? With their knowledge, they have the ability to transform even their audience. That's why I see some stories that you watch a movie, you learn something new that is applicable to real life. The writer has helped you to put some magician archetype there. Okay? It's intentional. So they most of the companies or brands or businesses that use this archetype. I promise you that I'll be giving you some tips. So most of brands that use even this magician archetypes are mostly brands in the beauty industry. And you see spa, relaxation, beauty, health, even entertainment. They are the ones because entertainment we have power because we influence emotions. You can watch something, you are laughing, you're on the floor. You watch something, the next minute you are crying. That's magic. It's mysterious. You understand? Uh-huh. So that's why entertainment is there. And you see, magic also falls under a type of entertainment as well. So it just goes without saying. Um, Also, companies like Walt Disney. Disney uses this magician archetype a lot. A lot. if you see most of their movies, you see, like I mentioned, Alice in Wonderland, all those. Uh-huh. I'm sorry. So all those stories are magic, thrilling, like they are based on the magician archetype. Most Disney stories are based on that mystical magician archetype. And it appeals to the audience because they have also a large fan base. There are people who naturally love movies like that. So when you're making movies like that, you already have a market. Thanks to Walt Disney, you already know that okay, this guy has done it. He has a market, so can do this. They have helped you to test the waters, so to speak. So companies like Coca-Cola, you see, they always have that mystical, uh, put your person's name on a bottle of Coke. It's mysterious. You don't know who put your name on the bottle of Coke, but you enjoy it. You love it. You see? Mm-hmm. So things like that. So if you're creating a character that has that mystical, you are ready. Be ready to make your character unpredictable, but lovely. Every time, everybody wants to see this character because they know they're gonna learn something from this character, but they don't know where the character is going to come from. Do you understand? That's that magician archetype in play. Okay. Next, we go to the hero. You see that it's not long notes like that because it's basic stuff. People just don't know to put it in their storytelling, but it will help. It would make you even discover exactly what your story is supposed to do and who your story is for. Then when you know this, you begin to now craft it in a way that it appeals to your audience beautifully. Guy, you have a blockbuster. Okay? Even if it's business, you have a great business because now you know who you're doing it for. Beauty, they tell you, okay, you have a pimple here, buy a cream, put it there, 1 hour, your pimple has disappeared. Is that not magic? Is it not magic? Yes or no? Just tell me. Tell
Yes.
me now. Uh-huh. Okay. So the hero, now, this is a strong archetype because this is the archetype of your protagonist in all your stories. So pay attention. So the hero translates courage and determination. That's what makes up a hero. Courage and determination. Now, the main desire of every hero is mastery over everything. Mastery. Mastery. To master their craft, to master what they're doing. That's what every hero is after. hmm That's why you see some heroes like the ones that went to learn how to fight kung fu. All through the story, they show you the troubling things they go through, the exercises, how many times they fail to master something. Then at the end, you see them sitting down in perfect yoga pose, doing it. They've mastered it. Now, so the main desire of every hero is what? Mastery over. Okay, line is quiet. Yes. Mastery over all. Write it down. Mastery over all. So the mantra, yeah, like the mantra of the outlaw is what? Rules are made to be broken. The mantra of the magician is anything is possible. The mantra of a hero is this: where there is a will, there is a what?
There's a way.
Bam. That's it. Simple. Where there is a will. So what this means is no matter obstacles you set for your hero, be ready to map the way out of it, because that is their mindset. Where there is a will, there is a way. That's why you see the hero, your hero sometimes, your villain will beat him, all the blood on their face, all the teeth don't come out. We see injury, the hero is still standing up. Standing up to do what? He's standing up to fight because of that belief. We were looking at it, we are like, no way, this guy, stay down, stay down. But he will not stay down because that's what makes him the hero. You stand up and keep fighting. There is gun knife here. They don't shoot and gun for here, no problem. The hero will tear something, tie the place, and continue to knock it down. That's your hero. Because that is the mantra behind his head. Where there is a will, there is a way. I'm still breathing so I can win. Courage and determination. That's it. Okay? So your heroes are generally positive. They always strive to make a positive impact in the lives of everybody in the story, and they try to carry everybody along. Sometimes this is what also gets them in trouble. So you see that it's a major attribute, because you need it to get them in trouble and you need it to get them out of trouble. Okay? Are you wondering how you will use it to get them in trouble? Ask me. Oh. Eh? Or you already know? Hmm? Guys, ask me now. Guys,
Hello, can I give an example?
yes.
Like in my film, my main character is all about preaching or creating this campaign that is aimed at making people be self aware about trying to save soils. But he is betrayed by one of his very trusted people in his organization. This person is the one that, you see, the way you said these heroes are always trying to drag everybody along, and this is normally where the problem comes from. So in my story, my main character has
Yeah.
this person that gives his villain all his information, and this character is very trusted by the main character. But he almost becomes the downfall of my main character. Yes, that's my example.
But that's the person that betrays him, right? At least one of.
Yes,
See, that's
a
part of
person
it.
that even makes the wife of the main character to be kidnapped and killed. Uh-huh.
That's great. You know why? Do you know why my mouth was open? Because that's what I would do too. And that the archetype of that this betrayer, mm, is what we call the seducer. It doesn't look like it, right? But I'll explain to you when we get there. But they are in every story. So if you don't have a seducer in your story yet, start thinking of who that person will be. Okay? That's for the rest of you guys. Thank you very much, Lily. That was a very great example. So, um, let me give you a few more points about the hero, then we'll move to the next thing. So, your hero likes to inspire people. That your hero should inspire, even if he doesn't like to do it, even if they don't know that that's what they're doing. Okay? You should have subtle moments where you show your hero as an inspiration. Also, your hero must never be associated with cowardice, incompetence, etc. So if you're going to use cowardice and incompetence, you have to use them to set obstacles for your hero. If there's any situation where where they are ever a coward, let it bring so much regret to them that it will push them to a crisis. Do you understand? If there's any scene where you ever show that your hero is incompetent, like they don't get the job done, let them be so miserable afterwards that it pushes them to grow and become competent in that thing. Are you following me?
Yes, we are following.
Okay. So um you also have to make them feel empowered to succeed and to achieve. That goes without saying. Determination. That's the determination part. It must show. You have to put an extraordinary kind of determination in them. Like the fire has to be burning. It has to be something that even if it stops burning, whoever is going to spark the fire doesn't have to do too much. And if even if they do too much, you are sure that it's going to set the fire back up. Okay? I hope I'm not speaking so far. Oh God, Gile. See, because of you guys, I'm training myself on how to talk small, but I just lose myself along the way. But I'm trying because I naturally don't. So we're going this. Let me teach you. Let me show you brands that use this archetype as well, so that you know that it's not just filmmakers that use this. This is serious. You see sportswear brands, Adidas, Nike. You see, Nike is even a known example. Just do it. Is that not their logo mantra? Their motto is what? Just do it. That's the hero archetype right there. Do you see it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So most sportswear brands use this hero archetype. That's why you mostly see in any of their adverts, they are pushing you, they are inspiring you, they are giving you stories of people that are inspirations, because that is their archetype. That is their brand archetype. So that is their target audience are people that are heroic, people that want to push, people that want to go forward, people that want to even start working out. You know, people that those are the people they make things for. So those are the people that they must appeal to in everything in their brand communication. They appeal to these people. So you as a writer, when your hero must appeal to this set of people. Your hero must be inspiring. Your hero must be a go-getter. Your hero must be dogged, courageous, and determined. Because there are a group of people that exist in the world that are like this, or that want to be like this. So these are the people that we are making your product for. So you have to know that they exist, then know what they want and appeal to them. Let your story hit the core every time, every scene. Let them be like, oh my god, this is so what I want to be. This is so me. You know, when you see yourself in the mirror, you don't just walk away like that. You stand and observe because you can relate. That's the power. Okay? So, also, you see brands that make sport equipment, outdoor brands, all these brands that make guns, tactical equipment. Actually, are weapons for success. Sometimes, although we know that bad people use guns, but any army in any country that does not have gun and ammunition, I don't think you will have an army in your country, and that's where most heroes come from. So I mean, you see that it's a problem. What can we do? Mhm. So even delivery brands like FedEx, UPS, all these people are hero archetypes because they show you that they can be a hero. They can take things and deliver them to your doorstep. They can do this for you. They can break protocol, deliver something express. They want to show you that they can do that. Nothing is impossible. Where there is a will, there is a way. You see? So you have to know these things. These archetypes are important because they push you to know what to create and how well to create it and who you're creating it for. Okay? So the next one is the lover archetype. Now, these archetypes, these are a set of people that desire to be wanted. You know, you know, I want to believe that majority of us are adults in this class, so I will say this. Do you ever have that friend that is never single? I don't know if you can relate. Let me throw this question to the guys that have been quiet. Kwagile and Cosmas. Have you ever
Kachomba.
had a friend never?
Cosmos.
Is Kwagile here?
Come again.
I'm saying, have you ever had a friend that is never single? Every time they are in a relationship, they are always in a relationship.
Yes, I do.
And they always fall in
Uh-huh.
love every month.
So
That's you, Kachomba.
like
Cosmas.
that's you. You're never single. So you see, these people exist in our everyday world. So yes, they have an archetype. It's called the lover archetype. There are people like this who they don't know how to be single in their life. They don't know if if they stay single for 24 hours, they feel that something is wrong with them. Like they want to be desired at all times, which is right. It's okay. It's not their fault. They did not create themselves. It's just how they are. So people with these character traits fall into this category of the lover archetype. Okay? Now, they always seek intimacy every time with everybody, not just like even like sex or anything. Even friends, they always want to have their friends around them. They always want to do a reunion party, something that will bring people together. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to go anywhere alone. They want to always wear the same color. Those people. They are the ones in the group of friends that are saying today we are wearing white, guys. Like who asked you guys? Nobody. But they want that's how they survive. That's how they are able to feel alive. So when you're writing about a character like this, remember this archetype, the lover archetype. Now, these are characters that desire closeness. When they are in a relationship with their partner, they want public display of affection, private display, anytime display, holding hands, playing with hair, pecking, everything they want to do. You must know they are in love, all over their status is there. They want to show the world they are doing TikTok videos together. Not like normal people don't do TikTok videos together, but you know what I mean. Some people is just too much. And then but for them, that's they are living their life. Oh, if you tell them it's too much, they look at you like you are the one with the problem. Okay? If you ask them like, must you always be with somebody? They will ask you, how do you survive being alone? Because they can't understand it. They can roam mad. So it's a serious Yeah, it's a serious thing, I'm telling you. So there are people
And they are
like this in
living
the
their
world.
life. Oh,
They are living it all. They are living it. There are millions of people like this. Millions. You'll be shocked. Okay? So the lovers, this archetype, let me tell you the basic things about them. So you see that you have one in your clique of friends, or maybe you are one. um, they always fear being unnoticed. Yes, they love attention. Oh God. Hmm? They feed off it. That's their food. They can't go out without drip. Hey, what are you saying? No, no, no. Never to be caught on fresh. Never. That's them. If they're female, their hair is always on point, nails always done. They can't, hello, the wristwatch, they care about everything. So if they are male, the shirt will starch like this, is standing, is the highest, their shoulder is highest in the room. And now so they're going to look up and down. You must notice them that they are there. Their shoe is shining. If they show everything. When they want to speak, their voice is loud. Sometimes they're quiet, but their laughter is always, everybody will turn and be like, who's that? These are the people I'm talking about. Uh-huh. That archetype is called the lover archetype. That's where these people fall in. So when you're creating a character and your character seems to be like this, it's normal. Allow it. Don't say, hey, this character, is this a right thing? No, it's very okay because there are people like that. Okay? So they fear being unnoticed, they fear being unloved. I told you before. They fear it when they are not wanted. They can cry. Like, eh? No man, they want to be wanted every minute. If you don't call them for a whole day, problem. Because what are you doing on your phone that you cannot call them? And when they call you, you don't pick. Hey! World war. Because that's just how they are. And they cannot understand that you cannot understand that you must call. Even when you're explaining to them that I'm busy, they're like, I'm also busy. But I called you, you didn't pick my. They can start crying. Yes, it's serious. So it's a serious issue. So
ah, the
this archetype
emphasis.
can't. You know that. So these people you can't ignore them at all. This lover archetype you cannot. So their mantra is, I only have eyes for you. So that's why what did I say? I only have eyes for you. That's their mantra. So that's why whenever they are with anybody, they want the world to know that this is the person they are with. They will put it in your face. This is them. This is who they have eyes for. That's what they believe in. They believe life should be about intimacy. So if you don't have that in your life, you are not complete for them. Do you understand? So they live to become physically and emotionally appealing. Okay? They like to appeal to whoever they are with. If they are with friends, they like to make everybody happy. They might not be happy, oh, but they are the ones that will call the band together. They are the ones that will call the surprise. They are the ones that will arrange the surprise because they've been thinking about it for months. And if you tell them not to do it, they can cry. So just allow them. They are the ones that will do everything. So they like to make everybody happy. They want to feel you. They want you to feel their closeness because that's how they want you. They want to be felt, by you. So they give it to. They give their all to their friendships, to their intimacy, to everything. That's the archetype we're talking about here. Um, they like to make you feel like $1,000,000 if you are in their life. They know your best color. They know everything. They know your best bed. They will remember your birthday if you forget their own. It's a serious case. So imagery and tone of voice appeals to them. If you shout at them, there's problem. If you don't dress well, or if you don't compliment their dressing, they can fight you, because everything they do is for attention. So this kind of people want to be flattered at all times. They want to be told that they look beautiful even when they look funny. If you tell them, if you hurt their feelings, they are emotionally damaged until you say sorry. uh See, you see that you know somebody like this in your life. So imagine that in everybody's life there's somebody like this. Imagine how many billion people there are. Then imagine making a movie for these people. You already have a market of almost a billion that want to see what you want to do.
To be honest with
That
you, I am that kind of a person.
oh, don't worry, I'm going to get a gift. So I'll tell you an example of companies that are like this too, or brands that have associated themselves to appeal to this kind of people. Huh? You see, perfume brands, fragrances, yes, because it's intimate. Smell. There are some people, they pass you, just you were not there, but just by their smell, you know that okay, this person came here, right or wrong. Hmm?
You're right.
Yeah. So fragrances, cosmetics, wine, wine. Yes, because every time you see a bottle of wine on the table, you know that friends have gathered or lovers are around. One person cannot. If you see one person drinking a bottle of wine alone, ask the person. There's a problem. Heartbreak is going on or something. It's not normal. You either drink a glass alone, but a bottle of wine, you want to drink it with your loved ones, with your friends, with family, with intimate people. Food, travel. You want to travel with your body. You don't travel with a stranger. You know, you travel to have more memories, to make memories of intimate moments that you might never have again. Stuff like that. So these things appeal to these people because those are things that they live on. These are things they want. Okay, so you see some airlines who have some motto like, we take you everywhere you want to go. We give you the best memories in the air, a home away from home, because these people are intimate. Oh. So if you're selling something to them, you have to use certain words that would trigger their emotions. This is for copywriters now. I'm not teaching you a copywriting class, so I'm going to try to stick on the one I'm teaching you. So if you're creating a character that is a lover, make that character a lover 100%. Okay? If you're working for a brand in any of these perfume or this thing, they want you to do a commercial ad for them, you know that you are appealing to lovers, because these are brands that the archetypes that appeal to such brands are lover archetypes. Okay? If a travel agency say, oh, customers, I want you to write an ad for me, I'll pay you so and so. You know that okay, travel agency. Who are the people that appeal to them most? Lovers. Students are traveling because of school, not because they love it. But there are people that every year they are saving money for where they want to travel to at the end of the year. They must do vacation. They must hang out. They must travel. These people, they love themselves. They love their intimacy. That's why. So when you are making this thing, you know that these are the people you are going to appeal to. You carve your story to speak particularly to this archetype, and you will make progress. Okay, you will see them calling you again to come and shoot another advert, because the first one you did gave them some good feedback. Then the colors, yeah, I'm not going to go deep on colors, but most colors that appeal to this particular archetype is red. So when you're doing your presentation for a company in this thing, make sure that you use the color red. It will give them glued. Don't worry. You see Chanel, you see all this. If you want to buy a bag for your girlfriend, you're thinking Chanel because Chanel has made themselves a brand like that for love. Before it didn't used to be like that, but they rebranded. So you see that it's important. Victoria's Secret, do I need to mention it? Do I need to mention Victoria's Secret? Intimacy. If you think intimacy, you think Victoria's Secret. Love. So you see, there's it. So we'll go to the next one. The jester. Now, this archetype is very simple. I'm not going to spell it. These ones, they love having fun and living life. They are just happy people. They don't have problems. They are happy alone. They are happy in the group of people. They can be the life of the party. They are okay. They don't have any problem. These are the people that fall in this category. Now, they live in the moment. Okay? They are optimists at heart. They believe in positivity. Okay? And whatever they do in their life, their mantra is, if I can't dance, I am not doing it. It's what? If I can't dance, I'm not doing it. So what this means is, if they're not going to be happy doing that thing, forget it. They won't do it. You're wasting your time. You are wasting valuable time. They won't even answer you. Okay? These are jesters. So that's why if you carry a character that is a jester and you put them in a situation where they are in an institution and everywhere is rigid, they can't even laugh. They can't make a joke. Your lecturer is strict. You put them in a strict environment. They can die. Because they will be odd. They will be the odd ones. They will be the ones always breaking something, or always hitting the table, or always mistakenly saying a joke that will make everybody laugh. Maybe people that are not used to laughing. Okay? These are people that we call jesters. Right? Now, they never take themselves seriously. Never. They always like to be, whenever they're around, it's a good time. Okay? They always promise a good time. They are always afraid of boredom. They hate it. They want to go out. They want to do something. They can't just be. They want to make somebody laugh. They want to fool around. So if you keep them in one place alone, locked down, they can't take it. That's the jester. They fear loneliness. They hardly go to funerals because they are afraid of being around where people are sad. They don't like it because they will always want to say something that will make people laugh. They will always be stupid in such places, so they don't want to go there. They don't like negativity. They are always positive. Positive. Even in the midst of problem, they will be positive. They will make you laugh, even when all the bad guys are surrounding you. Somebody will always say something stupid. That's the jester in that situation. So these characters are useful in your story. They never play the lead. There's no lead role that is a jester. Your hero, if your hero is a jester, that means you're writing a comic. And then even as a jester, you give him other attributes. Because a plain jester cannot be a hero. Because they never take themselves seriously. So they won't take a situation seriously enough to look for solution. That's why. That's the only reason why. Okay. So most brands that also do this, that have these archetypes, you see M&Ms, brands that are in confectionery like chocolates, all those things. You see spices, yeah. You see brands like all these breweries, beer, um, cartoons, child entertainment, Scooby Doo, all those things. All those things are just brands. They have that jester archetype. When you think of them, you just laugh. Uh-huh. Puppets, puppet shows, all of those things. Even the Dollar Shave Company. This one is for men. Women don't know this company brand. They make shaving sticks and all very expensive or $1. But most of their adverts are always funny. So they appeal to the jester archetype. So most of their customers are funny people. Yes. And you will be shocked at a lot of people, the people that are funny. You see the way the comedy industry is big. That should tell you something about funny people. There are plenty, oh, and they have money. Yes, a lot of people love to laugh. Take it or leave it. Me, I'm one of them. Sometimes I laugh at nothing, but the bad part is the way I laugh is the same way I get pissed. Like when I'm pissed, it's the same way. But I like to laugh. I will give anything to hear a joke. I only pay for comedy shows. That's the only time my money will come out. When a comedian is in town, I will pay, I will go. But invite me for anything else, Charlie, I'm not going. But you see, comedy show, my money will come outside because I want to laugh. And there are millions of billions of people like this. See Kevin Hart, look at how much he has. That should tell you how many people want to pay to laugh. So this is a strong archetype you can't just write off. Okay? It's a strong archetype. You have to pay attention to. Next one, the everyman. So you see, the category of people that always want to belong. They don't know what's happening, but they just want to belong. All they know is that uh, you go through life. There comes a time when your mates are getting married, you marry. When your mates are buying motor, you buy car. When your mates are anything their mates are doing, they are doing it. Those people, that's the everyman archetype. They don't want to be left out. That's the everyman archetype. Okay? They want to be involved. They want to be in the crowd. They go along with the crowd. Anywhere the crowd is going, they are there. Anywhere the crowd, anything trending, they are there. They don't have their own mind. They follow the mind of the crowd. This is the everyman archetype. And there are billions of people like this. Now, these people are friendly. They are always easy to talk to. They are they hardly trust people because they don't like to be rejected. Okay? They are not passionate. They have small passion, but they are not overly passionate about anything. It's just there so that they can easily hop on the next trend. Okay? Now, their mantra is you are just like me and I'm just like you. Okay? That's what you believe. I think I should spell archetype in the chat for you to see it. I just saw it. My eyes just crossed it now, and that's the wrong thing. So here you go. Check. Okay. So as I was saying, their mantra is you're just like me, and I'm just like complete it somebody. Guys. Yes. Oh, thank you. So their mantra, you're just like me, and I'm just like you. That's what they believe. Um, they always like to feel included in everything. If you don't invite them for your party, you are in trouble. This kind of people. It's not like they are passionate, oh, but you just know that they would have loved to come. Uh-huh. They are not your best friend, but they just like to be included. If you don't invite them, they will feel rejected. So they are not like the lovers, but they are just there. Uh-huh. So they tend to have a liking for most things, like I said before, but it's never so deep, so that they can just jump onto the next trend. These kind of people don't have a particular scent. They like different perfume. Whatever is trending today, that's what they are buying. So today you see them with Chanel 5. Today, tomorrow they are spraying some other brand, Miyake. Next tomorrow they are maybe spraying Creed. They don't have one something that they stick onto for the rest of their life, like the lovers. They don't. These ones they don't do it. They are like everybody. They just follow it. Okay. Then you see, they like to resonate with everybody. They just like to flow, regardless of where we are going. They are there. Mhm. So people like these are not. You can't leave them out of your story, because you see the when you say the hero is always carrying everybody along. These are the people, part of the people that make up the everybody, because they are the crowd, they are the majority. You can't write them off. Okay. Um, some brands that are like this are people like IKEA. People that you see that brand that makes furniture for you. When they bring it, you have to fix everything yourself. They want you to feel like you are part of it. You are also a carpenter. You can get things done like everybody else. You see the archetype. Then home or family life brands. You see like television companies, people that make refrigerators, because everybody has one. Okay, everybody has a TV. Everybody has a refrigerator. That's why you're getting one. Everybody has a washing machine. Everybody needs one. Everybody has. So they make things for everybody, right? Everyday apparel, like probably what I have. The Arabians always wear this a lot. Jalabia. So it's like an everyday apparel. Nightwear, stuff like that. Family autos, like you see the Sienna, family cars, because you just expect people to want to have a family, that kind of thing. So that's for the everyman. They are not so interesting, but they make up the majority of the crowd. So that's why we can't write them off. Then oh, you're welcome. Then the caregiver. Hmm. The caregiver is selfless. These are the people with selfless personalities. Okay, these are the ones that care for those in need, but they don't think about themselves. They will give their dress for you to wear. They rather be in the cold. They will go the extra mile to put a smile on someone else's face. They don't care even if they've not eaten for 10 days. That's the caregiver. Okay? Like you see, I don't know how many people have watched the Three Musketeers, but you see that their houseboy, that's the caregiver. Because a lot of times he will go hungry, but the musketeers have to eat like kings, even when they were not making money anymore. So their houseboy was going into town, taking things on credit, owing people, paying them. His masters didn't even know. Their own is they will just come and give you money. However, I manage the money is your business. Just make sure we eat like kings. Even if the money is not complete. So the caregiver is always a funny character. They're always fat. They are not athletic, but they are endearing. The audience just watch them and they love them. They are like, oh, you know, that's the caregiver. Um, they always like their efforts to be recognized. They will sleep outside for everybody to sleep inside. They will give up their bed for the guests and sleep on the floor. This kind of people. Now, there are people like this in real life. Okay? So this personality falls under the caregiver archetype. Um, they like to sacrifice. They like to give care. Those are the things that appeal to them. They just often, most of the time in your story, the caregivers often pop up to help the hero. So sometimes they give up their life. They are the ones that when they die, their death is very painful in your story. Most times they are the ones that die when the hero is supposed to die, like they collect the bullet for him, all those things that you see that everybody will cry and be like, no, this guy shouldn't die. No. That's the caregiver. Because they know that this person has suffered, so he deserves to enjoy. No, he doesn't. He actually doesn't want to enjoy. They don't see any point in enjoying. They believe that life is to be lived like that, to be taking care of others. That's what they believe. So when you tell them to enjoy, you're putting them out of place. Okay? Let me rush this thing so that you can go to your other classes. So their mantra is simple, but I was going to say who can guess, but let me just tell you. Their mantra is love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's the mantra of the caregiver. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Um, hmm. So they are vulnerable, they are sensitive, they are mostly warm and thoughtful people. Most of the brands that align under this archetype are healthcare, NGOs, you see, hospitals, charities. These people, when they want to make a media campaign or an advert, they always create a story that will touch your heart because this is the archetype that they are appealing to. Those people that are soft hearted, that believe in loving your neighbor as yourself. So those are the people that they want to appeal to when they are going on media campaign. That's why they create storylines for their adverts that are heartfelt, storylines that will move you to tears, all those kind of things. Because this is the archetype that they are appealing to. Okay? So we have people like UNICEF, Tom's. You see these Tom's, the Tom's shoes. When you buy one Tom's shoes, you automatically is paid for two because for every shoe you buy, a child in India or somewhere is getting a pair of shoes. That's how they run their business. And now the business is one of the top businesses in the world because he appealed to the archetype, his business archetype, the caregivers. And they are the ones that are his number one customers. Most people buy Tom's shoes because of the fact that they know that for every shoe they buy, a child somewhere is getting shoes. A child that never had shoes. This is a real life company. Oh. You can check it on Google. I'm not messing you up. So you see that archetypes come to play in your story world and also in your business because you have a target audience that you're trying to reach out to. So you have to figure out who they are, identify who they are early on. Okay, the type of characters you have show you your target audience. Are you seeing that? Your character's traits is somehow showing you who the target audience will be. So when you're looking at your character and you see the archetype that your character falls under, then you know the people you are appealing to automatically. Well, not like every other person is not going to watch it, but the majority of people that will pay and really break the bank are the people that fall under the archetype that you are preaching to. Okay? So, hmm, um, I don't know if you've noticed, but are you seeing that some people can have two archetypes in one person? Like there are some people they are like this and they are also like this as well. It's normal. So when you're doing your character development and you see that your hero is a caregiver at heart, but is also strict, like a ruler should be, it's okay. You use it to complement. So now that means your target audience is even to more for you. Okay? But it's just that you have to know how to show it so that one does not, you know how to balance it so that one does not override the other. Alright? Or you put it in such a way that the one that overrides is the one you want. Okay? Uh-huh. So now let's go to the ruler. The ruler is a dominant personality. Okay? The ruler is, I'll teach about the seducer first. The ruler is dominant. Um, they are the personalities that require control above everything else. They can never be controlled. Like I was telling you about Iron Man and Batman. These people cannot be controlled. Forget it. Because they are already big. When you are big, you are big, you know? So they are authoritative. They are always responsible. Take note of that. That's why they always make the hero. Because a ruler is always responsible. They will not be naked when they are not supposed to be naked. They will not cry where they are not supposed to cry. They will not do what they are not supposed to do. You can't catch them because they live their life on principles. Okay, so they are authoritative people. They are responsible. They are confident, hmm? And they are in control of their lives. Like I was telling you about Iron Man, he lives the wealthy life. He doesn't have neighbors. He's wealthy. Before you reach him, either you have a chopper or a boat. Now he's in control of everything. He's in control of the company. When he has to be Iron Man, he enters the bodysuit. He's also a superhero. He's in control. You see that? Whenever he's not in control, he feels weak. That's his flaw. So that's this archetype. That's what they are known for, being in control. A ruler is always in control. Okay? So hence the name ruler archetype. So, excuse me. Their goal is prosperity and success every time. Their main goal is prosperity and success. They aggressively defend their position. They defend it with the last. They don't settle for cheap. No, they can't. Okay? To them, power is not everything. It is the only thing. So that's their mantra. Power is not everything. It's the only thing. Okay? Um, so for you to be able to appeal to this class of people, your story, your characters should demonstrate their superiority. Do you understand? Your characters should be able to show that they are in charge. They know what they're doing. And even when they don't know what they're doing, they should be in control. Always. So when you want to put your character in crisis, you know what to do. Take away the control. You give, you take, you give, you take. That's how you put them, that kind of character, in trouble. You give them a love affair they can't handle. They want to be in control, but they find themselves being weak and foolish because of another human being. They've never handled that kind of thing before. That's an obstacle. You give them a child that they cannot talk to. The one that you are talking, they are not hearing you. Kill yourself. That's another obstacle. You give them a villain that they cannot control. Somebody that is always a step ahead of them. That's a major obstacle. Okay? So this is how to handle the characters that fall under this archetype. Now, Brands and businesses that, oh shit, I'm taking it to another time. You guys, 10 more minutes. Let me just wrap up. Brands and businesses that fall under this category of archetype. You see, the Rolex. When you hear the Rolex, you think wealth, you think ruler. Two people, you cannot wear fake Rolex now. You have to sign. You see? So when a company in that line now tells you, okay, or a Mercedes Benz or Louis Vuitton, you see them, the big people. So when you watch their media ad commercial or something, if a brand in this thing comes to you and says, do an ad commercial for me, the archetype you are appealing to is the ruler. So you should know that your set, your story has to be exquisite, A class. You cannot show anything tacky. You have to use the best of the best because that is the only thing that this archetype appeals to. Rolex is the best of the. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You have to take them to Patek Philippe. Take it there. They always have the budget. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Give them the bill. I think they say they want. Do you understand? But don't settle for less because the archetype that they are appealing to are a brand of people that don't sell. The people that wear Rolex and drive Benz, they don't settle for less. So their head is in some place. So when you are creating your
Rolex like
character,
Prophet Rolex.
no, the wristwatch. So you know that when you're writing a movie and your character is of this ruler archetype, your audience is automatically the wealthy people. Yes, do you understand? Your target audience is high society. Your target audience is, now, the gang. So you can't shoot your set and every other thing has to reflect the archetype of your story or your character. So if your character is a ruler archetype, you know what his wardrobe is looking like. You know what his car will be. You know what his profession will be. You see, coming to America, right? You see how Eddie Murphy's character was portrayed before he became a cleaner. When he was in his country, you see the father gold. All of when they want to eat, the dining table is as long as three people's house. You see that the set designer, everything has to come to play to show the ruler archetype in that film. You understand? So even your character, you see when his father came to America to look for him, he changed his dress. Oh, he changed the dressing back to gold and everything because it's important. Okay? So when your character is of this high class, high society, your target audience is automatically towards that side. So you have to create the story so well to fit it in that he fits perfectly into that high society. You see 50 Shades of Grey. The character Kristen Grey is a ruler archetype. That's why he changed her car. He wants to know where she is, the doctor she's seeing, the everything, what she's eating. When he saw the car she was driving, he said that car can kill you because he's wealthy. So he could not relate. And you see the people that watch that movie, most of them are high society people because they are seeing themselves now. They can relate to this character. Okay? Yeah. So the creator, I think there's more, but this one I think I'm going to send it to you as most. The most important one I want to talk to you about is the seducer, because you see that one in some of your stories, you have that archetype already, but you don't know it. Like Cosmas, you see Longezo is a seducer archetype character. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why I want to talk to you about that one. But I need a note of it here. Give me 1 second, please. Where is it? If I don't find it, just know I'll send it to you. But the seducer archetype is not just female, okay? Seducer can be male or female. But that's basically, yeah, finding them. That's basically the archetype that sets up the hero and puts them in trouble. Yes, like the seducer is always, you see, a character that the hero fell, like, not in love with, but a character that gets close to the hero. So close that even we self, we believe that yes, this person is for real. Just like what Lizzie was describing, that she has that kind of character in her story. So that character falls under the seducer archetype. I can't find it right now. I'm sure I've passed it, but it's fine. It's in my head. So let me tell you. So the seducer archetype is that character that gets so close to your hero. They get super close only to break their hearts at the end of the day. They are very useful in your story to both the hero and the villain. Because most of the time, we see them, they come from the villain's camp. Sometimes we don't know that that's where they're coming from. It's always a surprise on the story and even the audience every time it happens. So you're not going to change it. Maintain that. Use it that way to add suspense and spice to your story. So this archetype is always coming around. They prove to be saints. Then at the end of the day, boom, they just do something and everybody is like, ah, no, not that guy. Okay? So that is your seducer archetype. Now their mantra is whatever works for me is fine. They don't care about anybody else. They will pretend to care about you, get the information they need, and sell it to the highest bidder and put you in trouble and bail on you. These ones are responsible for putting your character in major obstacles. Like when your character thinks that all is going well, you throw the seducer. Bail, you just show your card as a writer. So it's towards Act 2. When you're building the conflict and the crisis, though you might not show it there. When it's getting ready for confrontation, you use that one to break your hero finally. Guys, even the audience will be like, ah, this guy can cook. He will die. Okay? So now, that's what broke Kambani. We saw that it's enough to break anybody. Now, in another story, the seducer can be a man who gets close to you, maybe your mentee, even. They go as far as being your apprentice to learn all your secrets and all that. Then at the end of the day, they take all the secrets and go and sell it to your enemy just because of maybe one thing you did to them or because that's just who they are. So when you see a character like this, they're always supporting acts. When you see that character coming up in your story, take note of it and just write the name somewhere and write seducer so that you know how to use this character. So that's it. When I finally do my notes, I'll send you a lot more and then you see the rest. But this is all the archetypes I can teach you today and how important they are. So an example of business that uses this seducer archetype would be lingerie, all these people that review. You see all these brands that are about art, some people that are in you see paints that you have. There's some paints that you look at, you are seeing two different shades. That is the seducer archetype playing there. Two face, because you don't know where they belong to. So, in conclusion, the last thing I said I was going to do is teach you how to use a question in Jesus Christ. 2 hours 57. Let me see if I can do this in 2 minutes. Okay. So, when you're asking your character questions like, why did you do that? Did something happen to you when you were growing up? It's not as if you're going to sit down and wait for a small voice to answer you. No. It's you that is going to answer the question. So when you hear people say sit down with your characters and try to know them, What they mean is sit down with your characters and try to build them. Yes. Because you have a description of this character in your mind. This person is a hero, he's a fisherman, he's this, he's that. Why did he become this poor? You have the answer already. So you write it down. All these answers that you write down will answer the question of, okay, what pushed you to go to this? You get, do you have a child? It's you that will still answer yes or no, because you are the best person to know if your character had a child or not. So when you look at your questionnaire, don't be afraid of it like, is a silent voice supposed to answer, or am I supposed to sleep and see the answers in my dream? No, you are supposed to give the answers. Okay? Like, what is your name? You will write the name you gave your character in there. That's the answer. How old are you? How old is your character? You write the age there, the age you think it should be. If you're not sure, you write the age bracket like 20 to 25. Okay? Were you spoiled by your parents? You think, is your character coming from a wealthy background? No. The answer there is automatically no. And on like that. The ones where you don't know the answers, like why do you do the things you do? You you allow your story to keep on going. In course of your story, the answer will come to you, and you write it down, because all this is what makes up your character Bible. Okay, so class, this is where I draw the curtain. What are your main takeaways so that I can release you? For those of you that need to go on to the next class, I beg you. I'm sorry for taking into your time like this. I just wanted to cover everything. So I'm going to put my mic off now and start from Lizzie, then Nachoka, then Cosmas, then Janice, then Sospita. I want to know your main takeaways. Then, guys watching on YouTube and Facebook, just write down your main takeaways from this class. And if you have any questions, write them down. I'll answer you on Tuesday or Wednesday weekly classes. Okay? Let's go. Lizzie?
Thank you so much, Nena. That was a very informative class. My main takeaway is under the archetypes, a character can have more than one archetype. And yeah, while going through them, I have seen myself, I have mirrored, this one has helped me to mirror myself in terms of whom I am as an archetype and as a person. Um, also, people that come up with character Bibles might be doing this and they don't know, might be going through archetypes and they don't know. And archetypes are things that we go through in our day to day lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Nachoka?
Okay, thank you. From today's lesson, from the archetypes, I've learned a lot, and it becomes easy to even develop a character from all these. Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad. Cosmos?
Wow. Thank you so much for this class, and I'm grateful to Madam Rachel for this opportunity to be part of this class. I'm now beginning to understand life. I never knew that I belonged to the archetype, the lover. Not only the lover, but also the caregiver. And you can imagine the lover falling in love with a jester. Ish, it's a disaster. I'm grateful. I now begin to understand. Now I'll be
No,
understanding people. Oh, okay. You belong to this archetype. I've just learned a lot of which I cannot mention all. Thank you so much. I'm learning and I'm still learning.
you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm happy that you're learning. Janice, I see you. Eh, Janice, don't run. Uh oh. Okay, so Peter, so that I can release you guys, please.
Thank you, madam. That was a lot that you've talked about, but actually, you've said about many things that I've kept into my mind that even I cannot say about all of them, but the main takeaway that I've gotten is that you have to rate your things in order so that the person who you are telling, the person who is going to, how can I say it? Even I have no words to say it that. Okay, let me just.
Like, watch your film.
I'm confused actually. Yeah, I'm confused.
Relax now. And say. Hey, so Peter, you have to tell me. Oh. Just break it down anyhow. Because I need to be sure that you learned something. Oh, Janice is gone again. Maybe her network. Okay, Georgina says, my main takeaway is a character arc is the transformation of a character in the course of a story. Yes. We should give a backstory of the character. It shows inner conflict and shapes the character's personality. That is very correct. Okay, guys, I'm so happy I was able to teach you about archetypes, and I'm happy you learned it because it helps you make your character very real and relatable because you see yourself in every character, and that's how it should be. So, I wish you good luck on the rest of your writing journey and the rest of the classes today. Enjoy yourself, have fun, and I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, enjoy. Bye bye. Tell me bye bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye, Nina. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
You don't go.
Huyu anasumbua mtu wako wa dari. Hiyo ameuliza mtu wako wa dari. Pika.